Mr. Excel podcast is sponsored by Easy Excel. Don't Fear the Spreadsheet podcast, episode number 13. Every way to copy a formula down a column. Hey, welcome back to the Don't Fear the Spreadsheet podcast. I'm Bill Jelen from Mr. Excel. Today's question, Tyler Nash.
From the worst to the best, please tell me every way to copy a formula down a column.
Okay, Tyler. Now, we were writing the book and went through and we answered all of Tyler's questions. And I was having so much fun with the whole thing. I said, we need to do a chapter that deals with the control freak managers. These are the people that ask you to do something and then they stand over your shoulder watching what you do. And if you don't use their exact method, they go crazy. No, there's a faster way to do it. So in that chapter, it's called Every Way To. I took a whole bunch of very common tasks. This is chapter 8 for how to change column lists, how to copy cells, how to paste cells, how to copy a formula down a column, convert formulas to values. And I showed you every single way to do it, from the slowest to the fastest. So that way, if your manager says, no, there's a faster way, well, you can go read exactly what it is. But sometimes your manager might be doing it the slow way, and you can show them the book and say, no, hey, look, Mr. Excel says there's a faster way. All right, so from the slowest to the fastest, well, the absolute worst way to do this is, to copy, and then right down here at the bottom, they say, well, select the destination and press enter, or choose paste. Well, pressing enter is horrible because it takes the item off the clipboard. So we would then have to copy again and at least use Control V or paste, because then you could continue pasting from the clipboard. Of course, now there's there's many faster ways to go. All right, the way that most people use, and this is still to me one of the slower ways, is to take the cell with the formula, go to the square dot, the fill handle, and start to drag. The problem with dragging is it starts out really slow, and then it starts going faster and faster and faster and faster. And they pause for 1/10 of a second at the bottom, but inevitably you end up way too far. All right, so then you start to drag back up, down, back up, and finally get there. Right, and it's just that whole speeding up and flying past the end that really makes it slow. Now, if your manager is a crazy keyboard shortcut guy, he might have perfected this. And it's funny, in the book I say if you need to, you can perfect this in about a week. Just practice it for an hour a day. Control C to copy. Left, Control down arrow, right, Control Shift up arrow, Control V. I've had people in my seminars who just love this method. They use it all the time. And I say, that's a lot of steps. And they said, no, you really get to the point where you can just do it without even thinking about it at all. That method works really well if column E is filled in. It doesn't work so well if column E has a lot of blanks. So they'll modify it like this: Control C, then they'll do Control down arrow, left, Control up arrow, right, Control Shift up arrow, Control V. I'm not going to say a lot about those. They're in the book. There's people who swear by it. I've never gone to the trouble of doing that. Here's the what I consider to be the fastest way. And in Excel 2010, this works no matter if column E is completely filled in or not. As long as there's some diagonal path to get back to the bottom of the data set, you're good. We're going to take that method to the drag method, but we're not going to drag. We're going to go to that exact same spot, double click the fill handle, bam, there it is. It fills it all the way down to the bottom of the data set today. So that is the fastest way to copy a formula down a column.
Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next episode. Check out Don't Fear the Spreadsheet. This book makes Excel for dummies look like it was written for rocket scientists.